If success was measured by pre-season column inches, you'd think Jenson Button had won a World Championship already. The new BAR is quick, so at the very least he should score his first podium. Teammate Takuma Sato is where ex-world champion Jacques Villeneuve once was.
The 2004 World Championship begins now! Cracking start by Alonso. Look at Alonso on the grass. He's attacked Montoya, but Montoya's fighting back, and Alonso has to yield. Two Ferraris, 1 and 2 in the corner. Montoya runs wide. Alonso goes through, and Montoya definitely lost space there, and Jenson Button holds on to his 4th place. Well, this is a great scrap, isn't it? The BAR Honda of Jenson Button just holding off Juan Pablo Montoya, and there's a bit of history here with these two. You recall that Button made his debut in Formula 1 with Williams back in 2000. He was moved aside to make way for Montoya, who's now going into his 4th season of Formula 1 with Williams, but he will be leaving the team at the end of the year, and a lot of people believe that Jenson Button is high on Sir Frank Williams' shopping list for next year. Tension in the pits then, the lights going on. When they all go off, we'll be racing around Sepang. 56 laps begin now! Oh, Webber's not going anywhere, he's almost stalled. Once again, Webber starts, let him down. The 2 Ferraris in line astern, Montoya 3rd, Raikkonen 4th, and Trulli up to 5th. Jenson Button in the mix. Watch out, Coulthard on the right. Button goes round the outside of Trulli. This is where the accidents have happened the last couple of years, but this year no problems, and Ferrari have control at the front at the moment, but Montoya already up to 3rd. There is Jenson Button, and Montoya was 2 seconds behind Michael Schumacher before this round of pit stops. Oh, almost a clash there between Trulli and Button. But these two have been stuck together all Grand Prix. Now they're together again. Trulli resists, Button has to give way. No choice there, otherwise he'd lose part of his front wing. And once again these two join battle on the racetrack.
Yes, and Jenson Button, you can see just coming out of the pit lane, also chose that moment for his 2nd stop of the afternoon. But Michael Schumacher had stretched it, as you said, to 9.3. Button feeds in front of Kimi Raikkonen then. Raikkonen's had his 2nd stop, and that is very significant. That is for position.
Not just for position, for podium. The elusive podium that Jenson Button has failed so far to get.
But whenever you're in the top 3 of an international world-class motor race, it is something very significant. The void between 4th and 3rd is just another planet, and he'll be so delighted. There's Jenson Button, and he's going to savour this moment for the rest of his life.
And a very, very happy BAR team, and soak up the moment, gents. Yes, lovely to see the Union Jack there, and a moment we've all looked forward to for a long time. And the crowd, I have to say here, giving him the biggest cheer of all. Jenson Button. Great day. This was a day, though, when Montoya charged, Button came of age, and Schumacher shone in the heat of Malaysia. First ever Grand Prix in the Middle East is go! Anyone making a break for it? Look at the Toyota through the middle. Jenson Button and Takuma Sato away well. It looks like the 2 Ferraris have got it comfortably though into turn 1. Good start though from Jarno Trulli. He's up into 4th place as one of the Williamses goes around the outside of Rubens Barrichello. Can't make it stick though, and everybody's safely through.
And here he goes with another run up the inside then of Sato. And this is into turn 1. What's happening now? Sato says, no, you're not having that. And they touch. And it's probably damaged the left rear of Ralf Schumacher's car. Sato tried to come back at him round the outside. That was always going to end in an accident. Although Sato will feel that he really did have an equal chance to turn into that corner. Despite having a little bit of an aerodynamic deficiency on the rear wing, Sato still got plenty of straight line speed. There's not enough space for 2 of them in there. Coulthard's got the line for the left-hander, but Sato nails it around the outside.
Great move by Takuma Sato.
Will it get him past Trulli?
Well, it's going to be very, very close. We think it was about 15 seconds that Jenson Button had over Juan Montoya, and you need over 20 really to retain a place. Needs to be a good stop here then by the BAR team. And so far, so good. Tense moments for all these mechanics. They're playing in the big league now. Here he comes. Montoya goes past us. He has retained his third place. There he is, as you can see, going through your screens now. So Button didn't have enough laps in his pocket.
Yeah, but yes, he did. He was never going to clear Montoya, but look, he has got ahead of Jarno Trulli. BAR Honda then third and fifth. Sato appears to have the measure, doesn't he, of Alonso now.
And there is Jenson Button. It's 2 podiums in a row. Come on, you beauty, say the men on the pit wall. What a great run for Jenson Button and BAR.
Indeed, Sato managed to beat Alonso across the line too, so he took fifth, third and fifth for BAR.
Well, how hard have these guys worked? They waited 2 years since their last podium. They got one in Malaysia, and now they've got another one straight away. The BAR team on a roll. Well, we've thoroughly enjoyed our first visit to Bahrain. We look forward to many more in the future. Jenson Button has made the headlines again, with McLaren a double retirement and Williams unreliable too. Michael Schumacher struck oil in the Gulf state of Bahrain. Final qualifying then for Sunday's San Marino Grand Prix at Imola. Rubens Barrichello fastest, 1 minute 20.451. Jenson Button has gone faster than that so far this weekend. He's going to need to pull something out very special here on this flying lap. Opportunity knocks then for Jenson Button. He's been threatening to challenge the Ferraris the last couple of Grand Prix. It's really over the single lap in qualifying more than in race conditions that the BAR is able to get close to the Ferrari. Let's see if he can do it then.
Once again, another BAR that's very happy on the curbs. First sector time turns up in a 22.790, which is very fast. Aqua Minerale, will it turn in nicely for the second time? Yes, it does. Car's straight, so it's going forward with the maximum velocity at the top of the hill then. He's going to charge through here, you watch. Let's hope he gets the lucky bounce on the way down. The car's totally calm as it lands. Brilliant, but it's going to be nip and tuck with Barrichello in the low 1 minute 20s. A good final run through the chicane then, and he does indeed go first with a brilliant 1:19.7. His final sector was incredible.
And Jenson Button has got his first pole position in Formula One. A wry smile from Ross Brawn. He said himself, coming away from Bahrain, I sense a growing threat from the BAR team. And Button versus Schumacher, round one is go! Cracking start by Jenson Button. Montoya there, but Michael Schumacher cuts across him. Rubens Barrichello goes wide. Good start by Takuma Sato as well. 3 abreast into Tamburello. One of the McLarens has gone straight on it. Must be David Coulthard. And look at Montoya. He's really attacking Michael Schumacher as they go down towards Villeneuve. He wants through. He wants through. No, he can't get through. And that's McLaren without a front wing. And look at Montoya attacking Schumacher.
Coulthard then lost his front wing. This is perfect for Jenson Button. Schumacher and Montoya too busy watching each other. Schumacher pushes Montoya clean off the road. Now Ralph's having a go down the outside. It's too grassy and too wet there. So Ralph loses out to Takuma Sato. And that's impressive stuff from Button and Michael Schumacher. They're 1 second faster than Montoya, and he's best part of a second faster than anybody else. This pair 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field. Great pace up at the front, and Jenson, for the first time in the Grand Prix, posted a fractionally faster time, as you said, James, than Michael Schumacher.
Michael Schumacher's 2 record laps, whilst Button was in the pits and coming out of them, is what's made the difference here this afternoon.
No, what's that? That's a BAR of who in the smoke? Which BAR is that? Nobody can tell us. I think it's Sato's helmet, isn't it? He looks a little fella that's got out of that. It is Sato.
Oh dear. First signs of Honda fallibility then here at Imola. News of that will be reaching Jenson Button via his radio. Here's Jenson Button, the pole sitter, the man who finished second here today. And he seems to be smiling, and well he might. Another step closer to the very top for Jenson.
Sato then 2 corners to run to go on pole position, provisional.
Well, he was the only Japanese driver ever to tie up the timesheets when he was fastest this morning in practice. He will go fastest by almost half a second, a 1:15.8, but Michael Schumacher will be looking at that and thinking that's achievable. When they go off, we'll be racing in Spain and the duel will begin. Now! Montoya's not got a good start. Look at Trulli! Fantastic start! And he's going to go down the inside of Michael Schumacher, just like we thought he might do. And look at Sato as well. He too is going to pass the champion, is he? Not quite. Sato 3 then. Montoya's on the inside of Sato. Montoya's had a stinker of a start. We're riding on board with Takuma Sato. You can see there, that's the gap from Alonso. Fourth Alonso, 2.5 seconds to Sato in 5th place. Started 3rd here this afternoon on the grid. Ran 3rd in the first part of the Grand Prix, but lost his chance of a podium slot really in the middle part of the Grand Prix. Just didn't quite have the pace today. Interestingly, the BAR. He's hungry for success. He wants to win here this weekend. He's got momentum behind him, and he's really got momentum in Sector 1. Look at this, 5/100ths of a second as Jenson exits Lowe's, comes down towards Portier. It's looking good so far. Ahead of Michael Schumacher, that's the critical thing. 1:14.516 for Schumacher, and Button does a 1:14.396, goes second and splits the two BARs, the two Renaults.
Yeah, front row of the grid at the moment then for Jenson Button.
Go! Great start by both of the Renaults, and Button's fighting a rearguard action. Once again, the Renaults electric on the start line. Look at Sato around the outside, and Raikkonen as well. Schumacher's lost ground and part of his nose, I think. Certainly one of the Ferraris has had some damage.
Yeah, Sato with a brilliant start. We're going to see that blowing up now, I think, on the exit of Tabag. And that is probably where Fisichella had his problem. Look, it's like going through fog on the M1. Now we're going to see it from the back of Sato's car. It's going to launch itself on the way to Tabag and all the way, and then that is what Raikkonen's trying to drive through. And what happens then? Let's keep an eye out. Fisichella's going to come in then, find some cars slowing down, I would imagine. Let's have a look. Oh, there he goes, right over the back of a McLaren of Coulthard. Coulthard with no rear wing then. Fisichella just didn't slow down. Now look, let's watch this. Oh, he's gone offline, passing a car in the tunnel, got on the marbles and straight in the wall. So he's had his accident in the middle of the tunnel, lapping the Williams. And I have to say, that's a pretty inexperienced thing to do, to try to go round the outside of somebody in the tunnel. It's always going to be filthy dirty out there. And he's having his accident and still giving the Williams driver the bird. Amazing.
Hang on, this is Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher has had an incident in the tunnel, has hit the wall and has knocked off his left front wheel, and Michael Schumacher is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Look how close Jenson Button is now to the Renault of Jarno Trulli. He can almost read the sponsor's name on the rear wing. A grandstand finish in store here in Monte Carlo.
Jenson just keeps getting on the podium, doesn't he? Amazing. Where's he been? 6th at the first race, 3rd, 2nd, then 8th. The difficult race in Barcelona, now 2nd again this weekend in Monte Carlo.
If Sato can get anywhere within 8/10ths of Michael Schumacher, he's going to get on the front row of the grid in this BAR Honda. Honda throwing a lot of money and effort now at this project, and it really is paying dividends in tandem with the work of Jeff Willis and his team. 4 tenths down then after the second sector. You can see the BAR just dropping tenths consistently in each of the sectors. Can he keep it within 8 tenths and get himself on the front row of the grid then? Out of the slow chicane into the final corner for Takuma Sato. It isn't going to be pole, but is it front row? Up wide on the exit, goes for the line. Yes, it is front row. He's done it. Cracking lap by Takuma Sato. Jean Todt even acknowledges it as well. Round 7 of the 18-round championship begins now. Cracking start by Sato. Trulli's going well also. Michael Schumacher has to go defensive. He takes the pit lane side. That's chopped Trulli. He can't do anything about it. And Schumacher's kept his position. And look at Sato up the inside of Trulli. He goes very, very deep. Almost hits Schumacher. And Raikkonen looking very racy as well. He's on the outside of Trulli. Those two, and there's Ralf Schumacher gone off. Connected with De Matter, it looks like.
Yes, they tripped over each other on the outside of turn one as Trulli begins to have a look on the inside of Sato out of our view. And Sato ran wide. It's Raikkonen up into second place then. There's Trulli. Sato having a nightmare in turn 3 and 4.
This was Jenson Button's attack on him.
Yes, David going to the inside to try to defend the line. Jenson said, OK, right, I'll just go around the outside then. Fresher tyres, ready to go. DC on his in-lap now. This is his in-lap, but lovely move there from Jenson Button, and crucial too, because he was falling away from the Sato Barrichello challenge and a podium slot this afternoon.
And there is, I believe, Takuma Sato, is it? Coming into the pits? Yes, it is Sato. So this is a critical moment now in the Grand Prix. Can Sato get second place? He's 21 seconds ahead of Barrichello before he made a stop. We don't know how good his in-lap was, but Ted, how's the pit stop?
Yes, let's see if they have any problems. It was a bit sticky going on the fuel hose. I think Sato surprised his mechanics slightly. That's a good stop. Is it enough?
Yes, here comes Barrichello down the pit straight then. It's going to be very close, but Barrichello holds second place.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, really he needs to get up to him in 2 or 3 laps. I mean...
Well, he's going for it now. Side by side they touch. Certainly part of one of the 2 cars has been knocked off. I wonder whether that's the BAR or the Ferrari, but Sato is through as Button makes his stop.
That was a bit of a reckless move there from Sato. I think he's hurt his car, but we'll have to wait and see whose bits and pieces there was flying off. But it was a bit of a late run down the inside there.
It's his 5th podium, also 5th podium of the year for Jenson Button.
Something like 15 kilometers per hour faster than he'd done previously, trying to make up for a mistake, a corner on the lap. He took the bite on the inside of the curb there, damaged the chassis. How he just missed the wall, I do not know. 360 degrees round, pointing the right way.
Jenson is on one of the best laps of his life, surely. That's a stunner from Jenson Button.
Absolutely magnificent. Jenson's masterpiece.
Is this anywhere near Button's time? It's ahead, James, incredibly. Schumacher on pole. Jenson Button will be gutted.
Ready to start? Let's go! Great start by Button and great start by Trulli. He's trying to get through. Now he's got a problem. Trulli's got a problem, I think. That's Alonso through Button. That's just what he needed. The Renaults haven't got past him. I think it's pretty sure it's Trulli, but there's contact there with the 2 McLarens and one of the Jaguars involved. 2 of the Jaguars involved as well. Yellow flag down in that area, but everyone is safely away, I think.
As a Button then makes his final stop, it was just 2.6 seconds adrift, and Montoya right behind him. This is a mechanics race.
Yeah, straight fight between the BAR boys and the Williams boys. They certainly haven't been too shabby, either of them, throughout the season. Button stopped first. A little bit slow coming off the front left, and Button's going again. They release Montoya. Frustration for Montoya. And is Montoya going to be able to put a move on the BAR of Jenson Button, who really, frankly, at the moment, is lapping, well, pretty reasonable pace. So it's just that Montoya is having one of those Montoya moments. Looks as though Jenson Button is going to beat Juan Montoya to the flag. Ralf Schumacher has already finished in second place. Barrichello has already finished in third. Yet another podium then for Rubens Barrichello.
A good effort from the Japanese driver.
Fantastic effort. I think Honda are progressing also with the engine and are giving them a little few extra horsepower. Sato's making the best of it. He really is quite tidy around here, and he's got that aggressive style which I think counteracts anything what comes across this circuit. Yes, the infield I think he was strong on. He definitely had a good sector time there compared to his teammate Jenson, but overall even Jenson's quite happy for him.
Here we go. Schumacher cuts across. Barrichello started well. Schumacher pushes Sato out of the way. Jenson Button, I believe, has lost ground. And look at Kimi Raikkonen up into 4th place. Schumacher has a look at Barrichello, but no luck.
There we go. He's lost it early on, and yeah, that's a heavy impact. And worse than that, it was at 90 degrees. At 90, and I think that knocked him out pretty much straight away, James, if you look. And we're going to see another angle of it now. He's already had the incident. There then is the debris. Ralf making it several hundred meters down the racetrack, and that's going to take some clearing up. I think they've got to throw a red and clean this place up and give these guys all another set of tyres, because they've been through way too much debris.
The medical car has arrived now at the scene. You can see that everybody's there. There's Michael Schumacher. He's having a good look, obviously concerned about his brother in the car, going very slowly past bits of bodywork on the track. Look at all the debris, top right of your screens here. I have to agree with you, Martin, it would have been perhaps a smarter move to go through the pit lane.
Michael Schumacher led by 0.8 of a second. Button looking handy there in third. Let's see where they are as they cross the line this time. It's down to 0.5. Button a further 0.5 behind. Montoya slipping back. He's now 2.9 behind Button in fourth place. 13 runners, most of them in the BAR's way.
And Sato can't wait. The traditional thing is to follow in the slipstream and pass it to turn one. Sato having a look through 13. Here he goes then, lining up the McLaren. He goes down the inside of Coulthard. Is he going to make it? Yes, he has, under braking. Coulthard cannot resist, and the next man in his sights is going to be Giancarlo Fisichella.
And now Sato got a tremendous run there out of that turn 7. That's where he nailed I think he nailed Webber earlier on too, so he is making his way nicely through the field.
Sato, and he's really lining up the Panis here.
Isn't he ever? And this is a grudge match. Whoa, Honda versus Toyota, and Honda pulls ahead at that one, and it looked like Panis was going to give him a little frightener to put him off the trail. Sato was having none of it.
There he is, he's ecstatic in the cockpit of his car. There he is, punching the air. A massive, massive achievement for him. And who knows what will happen now in the remainder of this 2004 season, that he's got the confidence that comes with this podium.
First Japanese driver on the podium for 14 years then.
Let's go racing at Magny-Cours in France. One of the Saubers takes a jink. Look at Button coming through. That Trulli alongside Button looks like he's going to pass him on the inside. Everyone looks like they got safely away. It's Alonso, Michael Schumacher, then Trulli up to third place. Button down into fourth. Montoya up there in the mix as well. Where is David Coulthard in all of this? He's behind Jenson Button. So not a great start for Coulthard. This is Button who we're riding on board with. Trulli is ahead of us and Barrichello behind. And just 2.5 seconds separating these three cars at the moment in the Grand Prix. This is for third place in the Grand Prix. The final podium position.
This will be very, very close with Jarno Trulli. The tyres have been out of the blankets, as you say, for ages, almost a lap. The Michelin tyres are almost bald. There are no problems with getting the fuel hose on at least. The stop going well so far. He rides the limiter and he's away. Good. Oh no, late going away. Decent stop though for Jenson.
Well, yeah, but he lost about a second there, didn't he? Surely. Where are Trulli? Where is Barrichello? Out on the racetrack, we can't see from this camera angle. There's Trulli, so he's not managed to pass Trulli, but can he use these new tyres now when they're at their most effective? There's Barrichello right behind him, the three of them side by side. Barrichello goes to make the pass on Button. Can he make it stick? Button not able to get up to speed fast enough to attack Trulli, and Rubens Barrichello takes that fourth position away from Button, but he's fighting back on the outside. No, he can't make it stick. And look how close he came to glory, and look where he ended up. He could have been third, he's now fifth. 20 Formula One cars, go! Great start by Raikkonen. Look at Schumacher as well, trying to block Trulli. That was smart by Michael Schumacher. He cut Trulli out. Buttons takes up his third place.
Can Button do anything about Barrichello heading down to Stowe? Be one of his best chances. He's a bit too far behind.
Look at Sato diving down the inside of Montoya into Stowe corner. That's a battle for 7th place. And Sato, as we know, is a very racy customer. Has he made it stick? Yes, he has. There you can see Montoya's having a go back at him though. Wow, they're side by side. Now Sato's got the lead again of the two of them. Raikkonen leads, Barrichello second, Button is third, Michael Schumacher fourth, Trulli fifth, sixth is Coulthard, seventh is Sato.
The leader to P4 now, the two Ferraris, is 7 seconds. Michael Schumacher leads by 0.5 of a second from Raikkonen. Button is a further, see him go 5.8 down, and Barrichello half second adrift of him. He dropped it on the exit of Bridge. He was well through the corner, and then rolls over the rollover bar, digs into the gravel trap. He was walking away after this incident. We know he's okay. This is a replay. Jarno Trulli then with a sizable accident on the exit of the terrifying Bridge corner. Button was having a good look at Barrichello too. There they are. They're third and fourth.
What can Montoya do off the line? Well, the McLaren's going round the outside of him. Terrific start by the Renault. Just look at that absolutely extraordinary start around the outside for both of the Renaults. And Michael Schumacher pulls away. I think Alonso is in front in second place. Third is Raikkonen, fourth Trulli, fifth Coulthard, and sixth Barrichello then. Montoya down to seventh from second on the grid.
And I think Jenson Button was having horrible problems on the outside of turn 2. And look, the crowd with their arms in the air as the leader, Jenson Button, pits. The crowd delighted to see Raikkonen off the racetrack.
Where's he going to feed back in then? Takuma Sato, his teammate, is behind him now, I believe. Yes, he is, right at the top of your picture. So, and Mark Webber, he's got out in front of Webber as well. So a big gain there for Jenson Button. He's cleared both Webber and Sato by staying out that little bit longer, and Button is absolutely on it here at Hockenheim.
We're just watching Montoya make an error and letting Jenson Button through into fourth place. Montoya running wide at the Mercedes corner, and a Button through. This is working out beautifully for Jenson Button, and this is the Banzai Sato move, is it, coming from his Webber out braking himself basically. Sato well positioned to punish him for that. But now surely Sato's got a brilliant chance to slipstream, but he's got to get right as soon as he can. Even if he's got to do that, that's perfect. Even take a bit of extra space that's not there really, and that was spot on. That was all he could do. He could not, don't outbrake yourself. Now you've got there, and Webber's coming in there too. Very opportunist, great move from Mark Webber, but Sato played that perfectly. Button pits from the lead.
Important stop. Fighting for second this afternoon. Where's he going to re-emerge? He had an 18-second advantage over Alonso, who comes down now into turn 1. Button gets up to speed. Is he going to take second place off Alonso? Not quite.
But he's cleared Coulthard, so Button up to third.
On board then with Jenson Button, having a look at Fernando Alonso. A Jordan in the mix as well. Alonso goes defensive. Can Button get him up the inside on acceleration? This Honda against the Renault. Keep your foot in it, Jenson. Keep your foot in. Alonso just giving him a little move across. And Jenson thought the better of it. But here he is again, you see, just putting his hand up. It's almost as if he's combing some hair out of his eyes, but it's not, is it? It's a visor, it's something that's just not working for him. There he is again now, on board.
Was that going around the outside of Alonso this time? We're busy watching Jenson, and can he now make it go around there? No, Alonso not
here
quite.
Here he goes, he's going for it, up the inside, up the apex, he's made it stick. Button is into second place. What a brilliant move by Jenson Button, and the BAR guys love it. We all love it too. Flavio doesn't like it very much, but that was brave in the extreme by Jenson Button. And now can he pull away from the Renault? Jenson Button comes through just 9 seconds behind Schumacher to claim an absolutely momentous second place here this afternoon.
When we look back on this race down the line, we'll go, that was the race where Button and Alonso had what, in my view, was the best duel of the season.
I think so, and I think this is the race for me that Jenson Button has really come of age, because we've seen great performances by Jenson, but this time we've seen him really work it out on the race circuit and compete against these guys and go wheel to wheel and get the better of them.
Jenson Button's charge to second place in Hockenheim was the latest chapter in the British success story of the season. Jenson described it as the race of his life. Together, Button and BAR have reached new heights. But unbeknownst to the outside world, tensions were simmering behind the smiles. Jenson has always maintained good relations with the team that brought him into Formula One 4 years ago, and Frank Williams had made no secret of the fact that his former protégé was on the team's shopping list for 2005. So when Jenson's manager, John Byfield, informed Williams that BAR's option on their driver was invalid, Frank wasted no time signing Button back to the fold. Whilst Jenson relaxed in the Sardinian sunshine, Byfield sent a fax to David Richards informing him of the decision. Not surprisingly, Richards was less than impressed, believing that BAR had a valid contract for 2005. And so began the war of words, with both sides insisting that Jenson would be driving their car in Melbourne next year.
Go! Schumacher nicely away. You've got the Renault fast starting right down the pit wall. BAR goes to block, and the Renault's got through. I think that's Alonso then, trying to fight now for second place off the line. Schumacher said he was concerned about the Renaults off the start line, and Alonso doing a super job. Barrichello trying to resist as they go down to the second corner. Sato doing quite well after a very unfortunate start, which dropped him there. He was third on the grid, dropped down to 10th, but he's back up into 6th place and fighting hard.
Well, Button in 5th place and Sato in 6th, which are the all-important point-scoring positions that BAR need.
The scrap between Renault and BAR, currently 9 points then, the margin between Renault in 2nd place and BAR 3rd. As things stand at the moment, Alonso 3rd, he's going to pick up 6 points for that, but Button and Sato 5th and 6th, and that's going to give them 7 points, so they close the gap down by 1 to just 8, with another 5 Grand Prix to go. And with Jarno Trulli not seeming to be quite on it at the moment, that's quite an interesting scrap to watch for the rest of the season, I think. I can see BAR nicking 2nd if Renault aren't very careful here.
The Hungarian weekend was probably the most difficult in BAR's recent history. Everyone was in the burning spotlight of the world's media, trying to keep a calm exterior while behind the scenes all was frantic. F1's Contract Recognition Board was due to decide which Button deal was valid next week, but now it seems there'll be a delay as Williams have yet to register their document. Until the CRB has both contracts, it can't make a ruling.
Well, it's business as usual as far as BAR is concerned here in Belgium, and as far as the rest of the situation is concerned, it's with the Contract Recognition Board now, and we'll leave them to adjudicate over the situation.
David Richards is still adamant that he'll be holding on to Button for 2005, and he'll explore every avenue as he tries to keep him.
Go! Trulli away well. Look at Alonso, look at Schumacher. Cuts across to try and block him. Coulthard, though, is having a go as well. Is he up the inside of Schumacher, who goes round the side-by-side? Kimi's had an incident there. Looks like a Jaguar involved as well. The Sauber and the BAR's caught up in that, but Raikkonen, Martin, certainly involved in an incident there into La Source.
Yes, and Coulthard did make it past Michael Schumacher. Worst case scenario then for him. Great for Renault and McLaren and Barrichello. Oh, and the car off their rear suspension broken off. Wow, just missed him. Sato then, and another spinner. They'll have to red flag it. We've now got a fire. Now we're going to see. There we go. Yes, they did touch. Webber getting in to the left rear corner, and that's why he hasn't come around. His front suspension's gone completely. Button, it looked like, has already lost his front wing somewhere as well. Total carnage. And what's this? Jenson Button.
Jenson Button's got together with a Minardi, and I was just about to say they were going to halve the points advantage Renault has over them. Here at Spa-Francorchamps, Button on target for some points, but look at that. The tyres let go, and the poor old Minardi, absolute passenger in that one. Absolutely shocking luck for him. And Jenson Button, the right rear Michelin, letting go pretty much at the maximum speed point. As we go racing! Brilliant start by Barrichello. Look at Alonso fighting with Montoya. Montoya's left. Alonso in the middle. Alonso cuts out Schumacher. He's well and truly past a very cautious, you'd have to say, Juan Pablo Montoya. Schumacher down to 4th. Everybody's being very cautious. Schumacher has gained a position there, undoubtedly, in the chicane. He'll have to give that back to Montoya or face a penalty. Meanwhile, Raikkonen is on the attack. Schumacher is being very, very careful, and he lets those two cars go through. So Montoya jumps up, Raikkonen jumps up as well. And who's the next person that's going to be attacking Michael Schumacher? It's going to be the two BARs of Sato and Button.
And this is where the Bridgestone struggle, even after a safety car, as we saw in Spa, as Button crosses and makes a place in the chicane. Schumacher spins. Michael Schumacher spins. There's a Williams visit in the background there as well. Carnage then at the second chicane. They were super, super cautious into the first one, and not quite enough of caution into the second chicane.
We want to see what Jenson Button's doing, because he's very, very racy in the early stage of this Grand Prix. He's got past him, and so has Felipe Massa. No, he hasn't. Raikkonen resists Massa, who's being tremendously aggressive in the early stages here. Fantastic performance by Massa from way, way back on the grid. But Jenson Button up now into 4th place.
Montoya on a very strange line, compromises himself, gets it out of shape, and Button takes him as if it's candy from a baby.
Got 4 seconds separating the top 4 cars. There they are: Button, Alonso, Montoya, Rubens, Barrichello. It's that close, and we're not even at the halfway stage yet. Jenson Button is absolutely delighted from the looks of things. Either that or he's out of fuel. No, he's delighted. In 3rd place, his 8th podium finish of the season, and most importantly, as I was just saying, BAR Honda move ahead of Renault in the Constructors' Championship. And what about Jenson Button? His 8th podium of the season, a sporting cheer from the Italian fans for him. Terrific drive for him, led most of this Grand Prix, let's not forget. And well, he did what he could. The car just wasn't quick enough for him on the day, but he'll have his day in the future, no doubt about that. Montoya diving out from the back. Barrichello goes to cover Raikkonen. Button's up well, but he's been passed by one Sauber and by a Renault. Terrible start for Jenson Button. The Sauber and the Renault side by side into turn 1. The Renault on the inside. Massa in the Sauber gets a little nudge, and that allows Button through into 4th place. Rubens Barrichello leads then from Raikkonen. And everybody looks like they've got safely through. Button, though, still behind that Renault. Fast starting of Fernando Alonso.
That is worth millions to them, isn't it? And look at Massa coming back at Button and takes him. I thought Jenson really had been led off lightly by passing Massa, who's knocked out of shape. But Massa's just attacked straight away. Button back to 5th place then. Bad news for him.
It's another quick look at Jenson Button making that pass stick for 4th place then on Felipe Massa. Easy enough. There he goes. But look at Button at the back of your screens there. He's having a go at Alonso. Alonso goes defensive. Button will not have any of it. He's coming down the inside, whether Alonso likes it or not. A cracking move from the British Bulldog, Jenson Button.
Nicely done. Then he covered his bases, covered the apex nicely and the exit. And he's got the speed to pull away from Alonso now and head off after the leading 2. It's looking very good.
He is leading Kimi Raikkonen in the McLaren by 0.4 of a second. That's the margin back to 3rd placed Jenson Button, who's driving splendidly here this afternoon, as is his teammate Takuma Sato, who started 19th. And before Schumacher had that spin, he was just 4 seconds behind Sato. This needs to be a good stop by the BAR Honda crew. They've gone up from Division 2 to Division 1 this year in performance. The pit crew need to take a similar step.
Ted, Jenson is steady into the box, not particularly quick, but there's no problem putting the scrub tyres on, the fuel going in, so this should well see him to the end of the race. It will. A very quick getaway for Jenson. Good stop, BAR.
We're on tenterhooks at the finish. It could well come down to that long back straight. We're on it now. It could well come down to Kimi Raikkonen making a desperate lunge down the inside of Jenson Button. Can he get close enough? The Honda horsepower pushing that BAR down the straight. There's no toe for Raikkonen. It doesn't look like he's going to get close enough to have a try. Button, it looks as though he's going to stay safely in 2nd place. Villeneuve gets well and truly out of the way. Webber gets out of Rubens Barrichello's way. And Rubens Barrichello comes through to cross the start-finish line and win the first ever Chinese Grand Prix with almost a photo finish between Button and Raikkonen for 2nd. Jenson Button getting his trophy from the Vice Mayor of Shanghai. Number 9 podium this season. The trophy cabinet expanding all the time for Jenson Button. Now! Down they go! Good start by Jenson Button. He's right ahead of Webber already. So is Sato. Webber's dropped at least 2, if not 3 places. Trulli's got him as well. And has Button gone around the outside of Sato? Into turn 1 they go.
Tremendous action then, an easy start then for Michael Schumacher, his brother following him, and I believe it's Button up into 3rd place. We're on board with Sato now. See the Jaguar disappearing behind us off to the left, and Button already flashing up alongside, and then leaves it later on the braking. Just squeezes his teammate up onto the curb. Totally legitimate. There we are, BAR then 3rd and 4th at the moment.
Yep, Jenson Button has done exactly what he didn't do 2 weeks ago in China, and that's had a cracking start as we look at Villeneuve and Sato being very, very aggressive just after having made his stop. The question we're asking is, where did Jenson Button feed back in again after his pit stop, his late pit stop relative to the others? The answer is in 4th place. Michael Schumacher leading on lap 17. Brother Ralph 16.5 seconds behind him now. That gap has really opened up as a result of that first round of pit stops. Sato 24 seconds behind the race leader, and Button 27 seconds behind the race leader. And this next middle phase of the race now, absolutely crucial for Button to get a good result here this afternoon. Meanwhile, Button, well, he's been up there many times this season. He won't be unhappy with 3rd, but he will feel, perhaps, that it could have been 2nd. And I'm sure they'll be reviewing that decision for him to get out of the way of Takuma Sato, because the seconds lost there potentially potentially cost him second place here. Sato 4th, Alonso 5th, Raikkonen 6th, Montoya 7th and Fisichella 8th.
That's according to my records, that's Jensen's 10th podium of the year, 14th point scoring race. Button there raising his third place trophy, but Michael said, I want to try and win one of the last 2 races. Remember, he's had a 3-race losing streak.
Looks like Jenson Button. Well, I was telling you that they were turning the revs up on that car. There's an awful lot of smoke and steam coming out of it. I hope it's okay. Here we go then. 5 lights on. When they go off, we'll be racing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Great start by Barrichello. Montoya goes defensive, but it's too late. Raikkonen's through, and so is Felipe Massa. And the 2 BARs have not had a terrific start. It looks like one of them has dived in front, but no doubt who the leader is on home soil. It's Rubens Barrichello. Everyone's slithering and sliding. And just look at Raikkonen, side by side with Barrichello, down the back straight. Has he got the momentum? He's certainly got the inside line into the late descent corner. And Raikkonen takes the lead. Dramatic start.
Raikkonen's got so much grip and confidence. Look at Montoya getting squeezed out on the outside of turn 4. I didn't like the look of that smoke from Jenson Button's BAR on the grid. It was like a black smoke rather than an oil smoke from an overfill. But at the moment, he's running nicely and I think just taking a position.
Look at this though. Down the inside goes the BAR. Jenson Button and Felipe Massa having a terrific scrap there. Massa had passed Button and so had Montoya on that lap. We're now riding on board with Felipe Massa. Button has got himself back in front of him and now Massa attacking again.
And that, I fear, is Jenson Button.
Well, I told you they were going to turn the wick up this afternoon. It has not worked, but they didn't have anything to lose really. They're pretty sure that Renault are not going to score 16 points, is what they need to do to overtake them for second. There you can see the smoke, which we saw on the dummy grid, is, well, it's terminal once again for Honda, but what a tremendous season they and Jenson Button have had. 10 podiums this year. Montoya leading Raikkonen, Alonso, Ralf Schumacher 4th, Sato 5th, Barrichello 6th. The big 4, Alonso, Ralf Schumacher, Sato and Michael Schumacher, they're going to cross the line with Ralf Schumacher ahead of Sato. As you can see, the pass made just a lap ago, and they take the final points positions.